You open your fridge, and the whole thing looks like a supplement store. Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken breast, a protein shake already prepped in a shaker bottle. You scan the label on a new brand of protein chips, 20 grams per bag, and you feel a quiet sense of pride. You are doing everything right. You are hitting your protein targets, following every influencer's advice, listening to every podcast that tells you protein is the single most important thing you can put in your body. And yet, despite all of that diligence, the fat is not moving. Here's the part nobody is telling you. The protein obsession that has taken over modern fitness culture in 2025 and 2026 is not helping most people lose fat. In many cases, it is the exact reason they are stuck. My name is Nick, and today we're going to dismantle the most sacred belief in current fitness culture, the idea that more protein always equals more fat loss. I'm going to show you exactly where this belief breaks down, why the industry wants you to keep believing it, and what the unsexy reality actually looks like. Let's get into it. Here's the origin story nobody tells you. For decades, protein was just a quiet, unremarkable nutrient. Carbs had their era in the 90s. Fat had its villainous moment in the early 2000s. Then, around 2015, protein arrived as the hero macronutrient, and the supplement, food, and influencer industries absolutely ran with it. By 2025, protein had become a metabolic cure-all. Protein for fat loss, protein for longevity, protein for hormones, protein for menopause, protein for people on GLP-1 drugs, protein for people who don't even exercise. McMaster University professor Stuart Phillips, one of the world's leading protein researchers, published an analysis late last year, calling 2025 the year protein jumped the shark. His conclusion was blunt. Protein was grossly oversold, overvalued, and overhyped. And the science hadn't changed, only the marketing had. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Protein does not cause fat loss. An energy deficit causes fat loss. That is the only mechanism that has ever worked, and that is the only mechanism that will ever work. Protein's job during a fat loss phase is modest but real. It helps preserve lean tissue when you're in a calorie deficit, especially when you pair it with resistance training. That is genuinely useful. But beyond that specific role, more protein does not create more fat loss. A Stanford medicine nutrition expert put it plainly. Protein has been given a health halo, the same magical thinking people applied to low-fat foods in the 1990s. Remember Snackwell's cookies? People ate the entire box because the label said low fat. Today, people down 3 protein shakes, protein ice cream, and a protein granola bar and wonder why they're still over their calories. That is the trap, and it's perfectly engineered. Here is the psychological mechanism that destroys your progress. When you frame your entire diet around hitting a protein number, 180, 200, sometimes 250 grams per day, you stop thinking about your total caloric intake. You eat your high-protein breakfast, your high-protein lunch, your high-protein snack, and you feel righteous the entire time. The problem is that most high-protein foods also carry significant fat and calories alongside them. Full-fat Greek yogurt, cheese, red meat, protein bars with 280 calories each, protein shakes with sweeteners that spike your appetite an hour later. A Washington University study found that women eating high protein during a calorie deficit saw dramatically lower improvements in insulin sensitivity compared to those eating the standard recommended amount, a 25 to 30% metabolic advantage that the high protein group simply missed. You're not just eating excess calories, you're actively crowding out the fiber, the micronutrients, and the dietary variety that make fat loss physiologically sustainable long term. Only 5% of Americans meet their daily fiber requirements. Fiber is one of the most powerful appetite regulation tools in existence. But if your plate is built around chicken breast and protein powder, fiber never gets a seat at the table. Then there's the displacement problem.
When you spend your entire caloric budget on protein, you starve your body of carbohydrates, the primary fuel source for the intense, progressive resistance training that actually changes your body composition. People running on chronically low carbohydrates lift lighter, recover slower, sleep worse, and eventually quit. Their workouts get shorter and less effective. And because protein without resistance training does almost nothing to preserve or build muscle, the entire justification for the high protein approach collapses. You're not building an engine, you're just eating expensive food and feeling tired. The protein industry has successfully convinced you that the macronutrient itself is doing the heavy lifting, when in reality, the heavy lifting is doing the heavy lifting. So what does the boring, unglamorous system actually look like? It looks like eating enough protein to support your training, not to win an internet contest. For most people, that's somewhere between 0.7 and 1 gram per pound of body weight. Not double that, not triple. Enough. It looks like building a calorie deficit that is real and tracked, not implied by the protein number on your label. It looks like including enough carbohydrates to train hard and recover. It looks like eating enough fiber to regulate your appetite so that the deficit is actually sustainable without white-knuckling your way through every afternoon. It looks like lifting weights 3 to 4 times a week with progressive overload because that's the only stimulus that tells your body to preserve muscle while it loses fat. None of this will make a supplement company rich. None of this will get you to buy the protein chips, the protein cereal, or the $60 tub of flavored powder. Here's the honest truth about why this matters. The protein halo is not a small mistake. It's a systematic misdirection that keeps an entire generation of people eating in caloric surplus while feeling virtuous about it. Every protein bar that replaces a balanced meal is a win for the industry and a loss for your body composition. Every podcast that tells you to eat as much protein as possible is selling you a product, directly or indirectly. Most people watching this will finish the video, feel the clarity for about 20 minutes, and then go build their next meal entirely around a protein source while ignoring their total intake. That is how powerful this conditioning is. But if you're the kind of person who can actually step back, who can stop chasing a macro number and start managing total energy with precision, your results will look completely different from everyone around you still hoarding protein shakes and wondering why nothing is working. Eat enough protein, not an obsessive amount. Build your deficit, train hard, and stop letting a marketing movement make your decisions for you. I'll see you in the next video.